A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation.
Welcome to Kansas Speedway, round number 8 of the season for the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. We're officially, as of the dropping of the green flag here this evening, in the back half of the regular season for Season 2 of 2025. And we visit a track now, a rarity for Max V, for the 5th time in series history. Welcome to the Cookie Cutter out here, just to the southwest, if my geography is correct, of Kansas City. I've been here twice. You would think that I would know that offhanded, but I don't. Still a lovely facility, and it is a hotter than hell day for racing here in the sim. It's Tommy Cook. It's Joshua Motichek, partner. Welcome back to the mile and a halfer here at Kansas Speedway. Interesting racing here last time out, and interesting racing last week at Iowa as well.
Yeah, definitely. Iowa, very similar to here, a little bit more unique, but it's definitely the cookie cutter of cookie cutters in my opinion. But it's still one of the greatest ones out there. Definitely my favorite.
It is always a dynamic race, and it'll be very interesting to see what we have got going on here in just a few minutes' time when qualifying gets underway. Let's take a look at the point standings. If you're looking for changes, only 4 positions changed hands above the cut line last week. But the one thing you will notice, we talked about things tightening up last week, or before last week. This time, though, everybody putting some distance back to the cut line, save for a couple of drivers on the slide. Definitely a lot more security in the mid-pack, and especially at the top of the point standings here.
Yeah, definitely. Kyle Stewart right there above the cut line. Chris Sargent right there below the cut line. 2 guys who tend to mingle right around the top 10, top 15. So definitely gonna be keeping an eye on them tonight. One tie in the mix as well with Charlie Widener and Ryan Nardone. Or excuse me. Yeah,
it was a tie last week. I forgot to put the 7 back on there, but it is interesting, worth pointing out to Ryan Nardone. He was second in the points all season until 3 weeks ago. The last 3 races, Ryan Nardone has lost 30 points to the cut line. He slid all the way down from 2nd to 7th, so he needs a good night here tonight. There are a lot of other drivers on the right side of this graphic. Looking at the mile and a halfs here this evening, who are some of the drivers maybe on the right side of the graphic that are jumping out to you that could have a good night here tonight at Kansas?
I mean, I see Zachary Groover and Jack Watts. I mean, both of them. Jack Watts especially. He's this Allen assassin. Usually starts around midfield and He's 90% of the time peaking in the top 10, pushing towards the top 5 at the end of the night. So definitely, I'm gonna be keeping my eye on him for sure.
Certainly, he will be one to watch here tonight. We've talked about this being a down season for him just a little bit as we move into our qualifying coverage for the evening. It's been a little bit of a down season for him, down at 15th in the point standings, but to your point, he is now coming off his first top 5 finish of the season last week at Iowa. So a little bit of momentum coming into tonight. Let's take a look at some of the drivers out on track. Here's Rob Martin. And a little divisive. We'll let, hopefully, none of the Venom Truck Series drivers will come back and watch this one. They won't like that. The foreign numbers, though, looking very good. And it's a great paint scheme as well. Of course, racing tonight, 24 years on from the events of September 11th. Rob Martin clocks in 13th fastest provisionally here. I know a number of drivers will have some special paints out on their trucks this evening. A couple of special plans have been shared with me for some drivers who are looking to pay tribute post-race if, in fact, they are able to post the result that they were looking for. Going on for more drivers on track here. James Lehman is on the clock. Good to have Lehman back. He posed quite the philosophical quandary to us just a few moments ago before we got on air. And on air being the key word of that philosophy, as Lehman will time in 4th fastest. Should we just get into it? I think so. Things are slowing down a little bit on track. We'll go over to Mike Milfelt. We need air to live, but we cannot see air. Fish need water to live. Can they see the water?
I'm going to go with no. It only makes sense.
I feel like they would see things in the water. They would have to feel, they could literally feel the pressure of it. But I don't know if you could see the water itself. So I'm going to also say no. But they know it exists.
Yes.
Okay. And
kind of like how you can see like the sun, like the rays of the sun. Like you can't see the air, but you can see the refraction and everything.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty similar to that.
So I'm now Googling, can fish see water? Okay, they do not see water. So we were both right. I don't know what prize we get, but we get something. So,
we get a happy feeling.
Yeah, I guess. We got a little over 30 trucks here this evening. Josh Longbonds is the only driver that is out on the circuit currently on a lap. And Seth Foudy is pulling off a pit road, but he's not going to have enough time to put down a qualifying lap here. 25 drivers with a time on the board. Longbonds will make 26, as I think he may have caught the wall there. If that's the case, this lap will not count. And it does count. He goes 23rd fastest out of 26 timers. No lap for Jack Watts. He seemingly has hit the wall. And a couple other drivers pulled off pit road and didn't ever make it back around to the start-finish line. So that is how we wrap up qualifying here this evening as we get ready to go for the 5th time in series history here at the Kansas Speedway, a track dominated by the pole sitter. We've had 4 races here in the past. 3 of them have gone to Justin Michael. He takes his 4th pole of the season, 26th of his career here with the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Greg Mall needing a bounce back after last week, still comfortably in the points hunt for the regular season championship. He will start on the outside pole. Heath Smith missed last week. He's back in the lineup. It is James Lehman lining up to his outside on row 2. Dakota Floyd and Scott Patton, 2 of the championship protagonists on row number 3. Patton coming off his 3rd win of the season. It is Will Kirk starting in 7th with Brandon Groover to his outside. Nathan Carroll and Kyle Stewart rounding out the top 10. Omar Rodriguez Jr. and Matt Sisler on row number 6. Joshua Fracker, Jared Wishon on the 7th row. It is Alex Halland and Mike Milfield Jr. on row number 8. Christopher Howell Parker Donaldson, Rob Martin, and Chris Sargent, the top 20 starters. Peyton Bass is back for the first time in a number of weeks. He'll line up at 21st with Riley Laverne to his outside. Gary Offit and Greg Parmalee also back after long absences here on a Thursday night. They start in 24th and 25th. Ryan Nardone back there on the outside of row number 13. Seth Bowdy and Stove Price Jr. on row 14. Jack Watson, Rob Mitten will round out your top 30 starters. Matt Rodolasso, Bill Paradise, Zachary Groover, Michael Van are the 34 drivers who are going to get after it here this evening. We mentioned it was a hot one. 123-degree track temperature in the face of an 82-degree ambient temperature in Fahrenheit. Some clouds in the sky, and hopefully some shade will be thrown over the Kansas Speedway here because, boy, 123 degrees is not the hottest we've ever seen, but that is certainly wicked ripping. And we're about to see some wicked ripping here. And let's get some race strategy notes and what these drivers are up against here this evening.
Race strategy notes. Stay safe. I think cookie cutter tracks usually provide for some pretty good all-out pace racing, but also some pretty good strategy racing. So definitely going to be interesting to see who cooks up some strategy calls here. 3 extra sets of tires is the usual. No fast repairs. The incident limits stand as usual. 16 incidents is a drive-through. 21 is a disqualification. 70% fuel. I would expect the pit window to be around lap 30, 35 or so on that. 100 laps is the full distance, so that will put the stage break right at the end of lap 30. So definitely going to break up a little bit interesting here tonight. So I think we're going to see some pretty unique strategy calls if we start getting a couple cautions later on in the race.
Certainly this race could time in under an hour. We are guaranteed at least one caution. We have had one race in the past year that has had exactly one caution. Most we've ever had here at Kansas Speedway is 4. But challenging, tricky track conditions will certainly play a factor into that. Hello to Rob Martin, Bailey Motichek, Zach Magris, Daniel Carroll. Thanks to anybody that's hanging out with us here tonight at the Kansas Speedway. Round number 8 of the season is green.
Pretty even getaway. Nobody jumping out front right away. Smith going to push Justin Michael.
Already made it further than we did here in season number 1. They crashed at the start-finish line. Justin Michael with a whole shot. Headed down the back straightaway. Still plenty of side-by-side battling. Heath Smith in desperate need of a good finish here this evening and battling for second early on. Ball right up to the wall, a little bit loose. Smith is going to come at Justin Michael potentially for the lead. Michael leads the opening lap here at Kansas. Go to Floyd, Will Kirk side by side. Brandon Groover looking to be a little bit loose. He's dropping some positions on the top side here as Maul, Smith, and Michael continue to hang it out here for the lead for second and for third.
Yeah, the bottom here is very quick right out the gate. But from my personal experience, it feels like it falls off fast. So if you can take advantage of that and make the most of it, you can gain a couple spots. But you got to fall back in line pretty quick.
You saw there on the static cam after the starting lineup, James Lehman pulled out of line. He has an EOL penalty. He will have to work his way from the back. Kyle Stewart also had a pass-through penalty. You just saw him on the apron a moment ago. As there's one tracking it down, that's Matt Sisler down into the grass, driving the U.S. Navy scheme here this evening. Now 3 wide with the 17 of Jared Wishon in the middle. Wishon trying to get out, but he's still in the middle, 3 wide! And there goes Floyd. They continue to stack up Omar Rodriguez around. And from 1 3 wide middle spot to another, they're still getting together and crashing here. That was Parker Donaldson going for a spin. That was tough there for Jared Wishon, and he hooks the reigning series champion And a rare look for Dakota Floyd with damage here on lap number 5. Wild ride here. Let's get a up top look at this one. Going to hopefully a blimp cam. Not really the look we were hoping for here, but still, let's roll with it. That's Wishon in the middle. Just having to turn down just a little bit. There we go. That'll be a little bit better. Maybe. Goodness gracious. That's Patton on the outside. You can see Floyd drifting up. I mean, a little bit of a turn down the track there for Wishon as Floyd is pushing up. I mean, that's just two drivers jockeying from the same real estate here coming together. Then the scatter is on. Floyd with contact. There's Brandon Groover up into the wall. Multiple drivers trying to get through. There is Omar Rodriguez getting turned. This could have been a lot worse. Drivers scrambling to get through there, and they're pretty effective. Let's go up the road now to Parker Donaldson. Let's see how this comes to be. Oh, just trying to come up the track. I think doesn't realize that Scott Patton is there and comes up into the door. Patton, so that's a little bit more damage in the repair bucket for the 46. Donaldson might be okay. Patton Floyd, Brandon Groover, Price, Wishon, Parmalee, all down pit road. It will be Kyle Stewart who should get the lucky dog here, as he's the only driver not on the lead lap. But your top 27 have stayed out. We'll go in search of the onboard camera here for Wishon. Actually, we'll go to the hood cam. Because, I mean, he was just in the middle of 3 wide here. Let's go. Kick block cam here. In the middle of 3 wide. Breaks out of it, but then all of a sudden Patton's coming to the outside. Floyd is coming to the inside. Floyd is moving up the track. Patton, or rather Wishon, turning down. And that'll happen a lot. Drivers just coming together. Early on, it's almost like a pack race, even in these very hot conditions. Drivers just jockeying for the same real estate there on track.
Yeah, and especially the way that they were being like almost bumper to bumper. Sometimes, and we noticed Tuesday night from the driver's perspective, the spotters are a little bit wishy-washy on whether they want to tell you if someone's beside you or not.
Yeah.
So very well could have been a lack of a spotter car there as well. They didn't realize they were 3 wide.
I know they've already announced some hot fixes. They haven't specifically said what, but I know 2 of the chief complaints thus far have been the spotter, and as well as pit road speed has been a little bit janky as well. Not just in the trucks. We had problems with it in the Daredevil series last night as well, so it's problems across the board. A lot to sort out here, not just for iRacing, but in this race as we're back to green. Justin Michael, good getaway up front. Smith and Mall right back at it for second.
Maul going to look to take advantage of that bottom being quick off the rip. Looks like he will have the spot.
That's the first decisive blow in the battle for second here. Here is Nathan Carroll to the inside of Heath Smith trying to take third away. Will Kirk up in the mix with Joshua Fracker. Fracker right on the cusp of a spot in the postseason. As Carroll and Smith going at it here. Maul trying to draw a beat on Justin Michael. He'll jump up to the top side. And Maul's going to have a go.
Maul using that bottom to his advantage.
Maul, a winner at Chicagoland back in the 2023 season, so he can win on these 1.5 miles. Here's Kyle Stewart back out onto the track. So not sure what happened to Stewart there. Continuing to go at it for the lead. Will Kirk has taken over the 4th position from Nathan Carroll. Alex Halland battling with Mike Milfelt inside the top 10. As Maul, a little wobbly there, out of the turn.
Maul still has it at the line. These two being side by side is slowly drawing Heath Smith into the picture.
Hello to Michelle Kirk and Robin Motichek. One thing that this battle is definitely doing is pushing Justin Michael. Michael, normally one that is content to ride right until it's go time for the stage win. I wouldn't say it's go time yet, and he is definitely having to go here.
Maul definitely shaking up the usual strategy call for Justin Michael.
Justin Michael, part of a photo finish for 5th last week as he was spinning through the infield at Iowa. Just barely came away with that spot. Here's Christopher Howell side by side. Alex Halland is for spot number 9. Things are stringing out just a little bit in the top 10. Oh, there's one loose up the track. That was Mike Milford. And that's Kyle Stewart to his outside. Stewart, the lap truck, is trying to stay out of the way. And that has caused everybody to fan out once again side by side here. Fracker and Milfelt for 7th.
Very close quarters.
Nearly a 3-wide look here. Fracker pinned down low. Kyle Stewart trying to offer the assist here. We'll ride on board with him. One driver to keep an eye on always is James Lehman. Lehman is nearly up and into the top 10, and he is taking it 3 wide, ripping the wall. Man, multiple drivers bouncing it off the wall there out of 4, including Chris Surgeons.
Riley Laverne was also up in the wall off of 4.
Will Kirk, Matt Sisseler, and now the leaders side by side once again. Maul going to have another go here on Michael. Lots of shuffling further back in the top 10. As now Maul and Michael!
In the wall.
Michael into the wall. It's now Heath Smith going for the lead. We'll take a better look at potential damage on the 87 here in just a minute. They're 3 wide for spot number 5. And side by side for the lead. Maul is going to hang on to it. Back to Will Kirk here in formation, trying to hang on with Kyle Stewart, trying to position himself as high as he can in the running order. But Kirk, Milfelt, and Sisseler all right here together, 5th, 6th, and 7th, with Justin Michael now in front of him. Definitely some scrapes and dings on the right side of the truck for Justin Michael. Wheel looks in alignment there. And no damage to the wheel well. The right front anyway, right rear definitely might need buffed a little bit. Man, that's wild. 11 to go in the stage. Still some great battling in and around the top 10. Seth Foudy is up into the mix with James Lehman trying to challenge Josh Fracker. And now we jump ahead to Will Kirk applying the pressure on Justin Michael. Michael going to take it topside. And Kirk will try and get through underneath. And he's got the spot. Milfeld next up on the 87.
Michael has definitely got a little bit of air damage. That truck not looking as fast as it was.
Certainly not. On board with Matt Sisler, that's Justin Michael right in his crosshairs. Oh, and Michael again into the wall. That was hard contact right on the right rear tire. Sisler now has a truck to his inside. It's Christopher Howell, and Howell looks to pretty decisively take the 7th position away.
Sisler gonna look to take it back though.
Hello to Lisa Carroll. Hello to Erica O'Day. Jordan Nathan Carroll, who is up and into the 3rd position, trying to find a way to close in on the race leader Greg Mall. In 2nd place running Heath Smith. And Marilyn Beck in the chat cheer it on. The 5th place, Will Kirk. Howell and Michael going side by side. Howell going to continue to try and push ahead here and will take the spot away as they're in the wall behind him. Sisler and Lehman, potentially Seth Foudy up into the wall there as well. This is quite the gaggle here, to say the very least.
Lehman trying to make his way further up inside the top 10.
As he does take the 10th position away from Josh Fracker. Fracker needs stage points here. Justin Michael just hoping to hang on to a couple. And Lehman eyeing a 3-wide move here if he can get enough momentum in the next couple of turns. Sisler and Foudy side by side in front of him. Both of these drivers coming in late. They're not really looking for stage points. They're just trying to position themselves as best as possible for tonight's event. As, whoa, that was Riley Laverne tracking it all the way down to the inside grass to try and save that truck. Still contact with Zachary Groover. Laverne has some kind of an issue. And I'm wondering if the track temperature is creeping up because nobody seems to have a good handle on their truck right now. We'll check on that here in a minute.
129.
Oh, yeah, it's crept up. That is big. As Lehman with the slider on Sisler. Barely is going to make it stick. They make contact. I don't know how Lehman got away with that one. But now he'll eye up a move on his teammate Justin Michael for 7th. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead is not over. That 3rd truck in line there is Kyle Stewart. He's just looking to get a lap back. But Heath Smith is closing back in here on Greg Mall. Nathan Carroll has company with Mike Milfelt approaching very quickly. Maybe the handle going away here on the 63 truck. As the Federated Auto Parts 155 goes to work here for the bronze medal in the stage. Will Kirk right there should things go awry for these two. We're less than a truck length separated for the race lead. There goes Mike Milfelt into 3rd.
Oh, and 3 wide further back. Oh!
That is Michael on the losing end of that one.
Ryan Nardone into the wall hard off of 4 as well.
Justin Michael out of the money for the stage points as Ryan Nardone. He's gained a lot of positions, but he's not in line for any stage points at the moment. Riding back in the 15th position. 2 to go in the stage. Maul leading, Smith right there. Truck length and a half behind. Got plenty of separation back to Mike Milfeld in third. Again, that's Kyle Stewart there, a lap down, just trying to get one of his laps back here the hard way. Christopher Howell closing in on Will Kirk here, trying to get into the top 5 for some stage points. Sisler and Foudy continue to fight hard. Final lap of the stage, and Smith tags the wall out of 4. So that might shore it up here for Greg Maul. 1.5 miles away. Here's Howell underneath Kirk. Kirk, I think, is out of the running for a chase position. He's just kind of done a pick-and-choose schedule thus far this season. Would love to take a win for the road here. He's positioned well to do that currently. Here's Greg Maul with a stage victory. Maul, Smith, Milfelt, Carroll, and Kirk will hang on for 5th. Howell, Lehman, Foudy, Sisler, and Fracker will come away with 1 point. And he needs that point. He fought hard for it. Justin Michael finishes in 11th. After our opening caution of the night involving both Dakota Floyd and Scott Patton. Patton out of the race. And he's the only one that retired after that crash. Dakota Floyd is still out on track, and he finishes 18th in the stage. Well, we know what's on the agenda here for Justin Michael. I mean, we know what the agenda is here for everybody. It's time to pit. We're right at the edge of the fuel window anyway. Michael will probably spend an extended time on pit road and will have to battle back or potentially employ an alternate strategy.
If anybody can do it, we know he can.
Certainly. And if it was going to happen to him at any track, Kansas might be the one. 75% win rate here at the Kansas Speedway.
That's pretty good.
And also won the Truck 200 race here on the road course, a track that he had never raced before. So he can do it. Keeping our eyes on the race off of pit road. Four tires for everybody. And the race off goes to Greg Maul. Heath Smith is going to eke out second. Mike Milfeld out third. James Lehman up to 4th. Christopher Howell will come out in 5th. So that is some position dropped for Will Kirk and also for Nathan Carroll. Kirk down to 6th. Carroll down to 10th. And there's Real Everton in the chat asking to see the paint scheme here for Nathan Carroll. Very good looking truck. Yes, indeed. I think we mentioned the title of the race tonight, the Twisted Designs 100. Apologies for that. I think this is only the 3rd race this season that has actually had a proper name. So a bit out of practice on that one. But yes, indeed, Twisted Designs 100 this evening at the Kansas Speedway. Next week, we're headed to Kentucky for the Max v CNC Home Designs Truck Series for round number 9 of the season. Daredevil Series off next week. We'll come back with a Fury in 2 weeks' time with a doubleheader at Gateway. That's the Gateway Road Course, which has no right to be as fun as it is. And then a legendary race is always on the Gateway Oval. But next week, it will be the Venom Truck Series on Tuesday night from the Nashville Superspeedway. Caution-free race last season. See if they can pull that one out again. But should be a lot of fun on Tuesday night as the Car Inside in-season tournament continues. Big news on Tuesday night as well. We haven't talked about it yet, but you found yourself promoted by one position at the end of the night. Chad Stearns will statistically keep the win, but is credited with 19th place points. Too many pit road infractions there. So very interesting developments on Tuesday, and we'll get into it more when Matt Williamson comes back home to Lebanon. Mullen Smith on the front row, Milfelt and Lehman, your front four as we're back at our way.
Ball off, very good. Lehman immediately down to the bottom.
Milfelt will take second. Smith may fade back to fourth here as Lehman is looking to clear up for that third position, and he's got it.
Here goes Milfelt for the lead.
155 looking to be on point for the first time this evening. Mall a little tight there and then a little loose. It will be Milfeld across the line. Lehman is on the scene looking for the lead. He's got some room underneath the Mike Milfeld here into turn number one.
Milfeld going to squeeze him down as far as he can. And it's going to play to his advantage a little bit faster off the corner.
Lehman clipped the apron a little bit there. Jolts up the track, but will fall in line still in second. Covers off that run from Greg Mall. Your top five all in one shot.
Lehman back to the top for the run. Oh man, look at that closing rate.
I mean, these are adverse conditions. These drivers are going hard. But man, these trucks are still just kind of ducking and weaving a little bit. Mall is there. On James Lehman. Lehman is there on Milfeld. And you can hear Mall crack the throttle ever so slightly. He's still got the run. And he'll go side by side with Lehman.
Pretty much single file all the way back to 15th as they're 3 wide coming off of 2. Laverne, Mitten, Peyton Bass.
What an absolute slugfest here for the top 3 positions. Lehman making inroads on Milfeld here on the top side. He's got the lead by a couple inches. Up top, but now Milfeld driving it hard down low and will swing up in front of the 50. Lehman coming back with a run, though.
And this is by far what the one of Heath Smith wants to see in front of him.
We know we're guaranteed another pit stop. Honestly, we might have 2 if we go green. It'll be close. Regardless, these drivers are going hard. I'm wondering who is saving something right now as Lehman looks to take the lead outright. He has got it. I'm wondering who's saving because it isn't Lehman. It probably isn't Milfeld or Mall. Is it Heath Smith? Is it Chris Howell? Or is it somebody else further down the pecking order here? One thing definitely to point out, Justin Michael restarted 25th. He has not made up any time. He's down in 27th now. Potentially employing some kind of strategy, but also could still be struggling with the damage on that truck. Certainly, if you take any sort of aero damage at a track like this, it is going to affect the handling in an adverse way. You can already see what these drivers without aero damage are struggling with. Very loose conditions, especially the further we go in the run. That will just loosen you up straight away.
Millfeld still sticking it right to the bumper of Lehman as they roll into one. Millfeld now has a run off of 2.
Millfeld roll it out a little bit early. Trying to get to the throttle quicker.
Millfeld taking a slightly wider entry has given him a real run coming off of the corner.
Normally that kind of entry we see tells me that he's having trouble getting turned down, but you're right, he is still generating quite the run there in 1 and 2 down the backstretch. Talking about fish seeing water, can Mike Millfeld see the air? That's the question. As I think we've got problems further back in the pack with Justin Michael. He is mowing the grass. And I think Omar Rodriguez Jr. was down there with him as well. So issues for Justin Michael. Man, our regular championship contingent, or at least the top 3 in the point standings coming into tonight, they have had a horrible night. Michael into the wall from the lead. And Patton and Floyd getting caught up in the same accident. Floyd, the best running out of the 3, and he's only in 14th. Very strange sort of night thus far.
Yeah, it looks like Justin Michael just got into the wall off of 4 yet again.
Sure. If there was any sort of strategy afoot there, he has brought it down pit road, and that might very well be him throwing in the towel on the night. He'll be very disappointed. This is certainly a track that he always has circled for victory.
But talk about saving. Christopher Howell, 2 tires in the grass to get up underneath Heath Smith.
Howell certainly had it figured out over the course of the opening stage. Great long run pace for him. And he is going to work here on Smith, but will tuck back in line and settle for 5th for now. I do want to take a look at this while we have just a second here. And it's already happened, so we'll have to back it up. This might just be Michael into the wall, down on the track. I would imagine there's a little bit of monkey see, monkey do as you saw Omar Rodriguez in front of him do the exact same thing. Good battling for 6th on back. Sisler, Foudy, Fracker, Carroll, Kirk, Zachary Gruber, Dakota Floyd, Jack Watts, all right here together. And Stove Price Jr. and Peyton Bass in that mix there as well. We'll jump back up to Christopher Howell, trying to find his way through on Heath Smith. How about Dakota Floyd?
Yeah, Dakota Floyd back up into 11th now, working on the top 10.
When we peeked at him just a second ago, he was back there in 14th. So he is making ground and making it quick. Floyd up to 10th now, trying to get around Will Kirk, and will do it. Meanwhile, back up front, Howell wrapping the apron there through the middle of the turn, up to the door on exit. Still side by side with Smith for 4th. Howell has it at the stripe this time. And he will complete the pass. So Howell up to fourth. James Lehman now with a 6/10 of a second advantage over Greg Mull in second. Mike Millfelt Jr. in third. Howell and Smith the top five. Sisseler, Foudy, Fracker, Carroll, and now Floyd the top 10.
Lots of drivers who started further back in the field making great progress.
Yeah, Mike Millfelt plus 13. Christopher Howell plus 13. Seth Foudy plus 20. Jack Watts plus 17. And the score sheet says plus 3 for James Lehman, but don't forget he had an EOL penalty to start this race, so he had to go from the very back of the field. He was the caboose. Up to the lead now. Let's go back to Nathan Carroll. Oh, is just behind him. Jack Watts there.
Had to go all the way down to the apron.
Back to Carroll now. Door to door with Joshua Fracker. Fracker having a solid night. But Carroll will have spot number 8, at least for now. Now it is Dakota Floyd to the outside of Joshua Fracker.
Oh, and Lehman caught the apron that time through 1 and 2.
And that will bring Greg Mull back into the fold. It certainly will take a couple tenths of the chunk out of the interval there between the two. Go to Floyd. He's
Lehman
rocking and rolling right now. To the outside of Nathan Carroll now. As Mull tried to go to the top rope, and he almost had it in the wall there in the middle of 1 and 2. As they are 3 wide. Just outside of the top 10, that's Kirk, Price, and Watts, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Kirk trying to hang on to this spot. Still Price Jr. underneath. And we'll pull back in line. Riding on board with the Sim Seats Toyota Tundra, Seth Foudy. Trying to make this move to go plus 21 on the evening thus far. The 6th place for Foudy over Matt Sisseler. It's worth pointing out as well, Sisseler and Foudy are outpacing the top 5. We're sort of drawing in a little bit. Just a 10th here and a 10th there. The only person there not outpacing right now is James Lehman, at least the last couple of circuits.
Lehman now right at a second ahead of Greg Mull.
Just as quickly as Mull pulled up to James Lehman, he has dropped back right into the lap of Mike Millfelt Jr. here. Millfelt himself trying to get some separation back to Christopher Howell. Very interesting on corner entry. Listening on the static cam, it sure sounded like James Lehman was cutting the engine. Definitely. 40 laps to go. We're theorizing the fuel window is maybe somewhere around the low to mid 30s. We're coming up on pit stops now. You know what this tells us is that it's really, really tight.
Lehman brushes the wall into one.
We've not seen any of the lead lap trucks on pit road just yet.
And, you know, even if you can make it on fuel without saving fuel is always a good idea because it can shorten up that pit stop by a few tenths.
To your point about that, I think the only driver that does have that luxury right now is James Lehman. Everybody else is fighting for position right now. Even if they had to save fuel, you can't. Lehman's gotten out to 1.1 seconds and is still putting time on these drivers, even not under power. Here comes Heath Smith to pit road. Smith trying to get it woed up to pit road speed. Looks like he will do that. A little bit of a cautious entry. So we'll see where that will put him. And we are underway for the green flag pit cycle here, kicking off on lap 63.
Pretty curious to see somebody so far forward in the field be the first to pit.
Smith needs something, man. He really, really does. Why not give it a shot? Nobody else inside the top 10 is coming to pit road. Looks like Peyton Bass, who was just inside the top 15, will come down and get his service. So he's locked it up. Keeps it out of the wall, but that is going to be a time killer. So who's next? To go to Floyd, continuing his march forward. That'll be from net 7th. For now, it's 6th. As here comes Mike Milfeld.
I think that's going to be the one to set it off.
Very well could. He was really starting to put the pace on Lehman. We'll see if Lehman is going to answer. I would imagine, by the sounds of it, he's probably going to stretch this out as long as he possibly can. He's still cutting the engine there. And
here he comes.
Turn it back on and turn her down, and he is headed into pit. Little lock up there. That's probably the boldest entry we've seen thus far. Rod Mitten, Alex Allen, Matt Rodolasso, Parker Donaldson all in this time around as well. So still waiting on pit stops from your top 15 runners here, from Greg Mall down to Rob Martin. And I guess Brandon Griever there in 16th as well. So we'll see who comes down this time. Mall back in front. He will bring it in. Matt Sisler stays out, but Mall brings Foudy, Howell, Floyd, Carroll, Fracker, Price Jr., Kirk, Watts, Zachary Groover, Riley Laverne, Ryan Nardone. All down pit road. So is Chris Sargent. So that
just about everybody
tells me that we are running on empty there. Sisler, the last one.
Sisler gonna lead a lap and slide it in.
Ooh, boy.
Oh, that's
coming in hot.
Oh.
Not sure if he made that. Race off pit road, not going to be won by Greg Mall. Christopher Howell and Seth Foudy all beat him out. And, of course, Smith, Lehman, and Milfelt are going to cycle ahead of them anyway, just by virtue of being on fresher tires earlier. But Foudy with the big jump here. The leader is Heath Smith. He has got about 3 seconds back to James Lehman, but again, Lehman on a little bit fresher tires. Milfeld on fresher tires than Lehman, and that gap is only 0.6 of a second. Matt Sisler off pit road. He will blend in the 8th position behind Dakota Floyd. If Floyd could keep up the pace that he was on for this entire run, boy, he might still be eyeing a podium. He's got about 4.5 seconds up to Mike Milfelt. That's going to be a challenge, but he certainly could get 4th. There's no reason he couldn't. Even so, a respectable recovery from the early crash on lap number 5 for the reigning series champion. Still in quest of that first victory on the season.
My big question. Furthest person we saw go on fuel was 36. Heath Smith is going to have more than that to the end.
I thought you were going to ask the fish question again. Yeah, that's so close for comfort. The other thing Smith is going to have to worry about here is he will not have an opportunity to save any fuel, because James Lehman is closing rather quickly, inside of a 1.5 seconds now. As an issue for Brandon Groover, Groover has just jumped to the pits. Whatever it was, we will stay green.
Boy, I think a caution right now would be the biggest shakeup.
It would definitely put some interesting things in motion here. As Nathan Carroll, Matt Sisler side by side. Sisler on the freshest tires on the circuit. Carroll riding a pretty decent wave of momentum coming into tonight, though. Another great recovery drive last week in Iowa. I'm sure he's tired of hearing great recovery drive, because he's heard it in, I think, all but one race this season thus far.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, no kidding. Here is Lehman now. We were just saying it was a 1.5 seconds. It is a truck length. Lehman is back to the lead. And the good news for James Lehman is he has 2.5 seconds back to Mike Milfelt. Looking at the lap times, Milfelt 0.5 seconds slower last time around. And not only that, Milfelt is saving fuel. So something is not quite right.
Smith into the wall off 4.
So back here to Nathan Carroll, Matt Sisler, still going at it. Oh boy, that is right on the door there, right on the quarter panel. But Carroll finally going to come away with this spot. Sisler going to come back at him with a run, but at least Carroll has somewhere to defend from. Let's head back up the road. Seth Foudy closing back in on Greg Mull. Mull did a nice job to very quickly get back around Foudy and Howell. I wonder how hard they really fought as Maul was able to sweep around the outside of them. They could be saving a little something here. Howell does seem to be fading away, but Foudy is starting to push.
And looking at the lap times, Smith and Milfelt both on older tires than everyone else around them, and they're almost half a second off the pace.
I mean, that's the 155 coming up here for these drivers. They're only about 0.8 of a second behind. So Maul and Foudy quickly reeling in Mike Milfeld here for a potential spot on the podium. And that's the Oregon Ducks green up there as well. At 33.10 for Heath Smith, 32.89 for Mike Milfelt, and Maul and Foudy both in the mid-32s.
Maul and making leaps and bounds, even on your leader, James Lehman. Was about a tenth slower that last lap.
Oh, Maul a little bit loose as he transitioned down to the flat there, and Foudy had a crack at going to the outside. Foudy brushing the wall, though. And we'll pull back in line. Maul going to focus forward once again. Closing it on Milfeld, closing it on Smith. Meanwhile, behind them, Sisler and Carroll continuing to battle. Sisler actually regaining the 8th position from Nathan Carroll. We'll take a look at that if and when we can. Maul trying to secure at least the low step on the podium here. They're 4.5 seconds behind James Lehman. A lot of work to do inside of 20 to go if Maul or Foudy is going to contend for the win. I'll tell you, a good first step here would be to actually pass Mike Milfeld. And it's definitely not happening as quick as I thought it would.
Yeah, as big of a time differential. Oh! Very close quarters. Milfeld doing a great job at making that truck as wide as possible.
Maul will complete the pass, and he is up to third. Now only 0.7 of a second up the road. You'll find Heath Smith.
Foudy to the outside.
Howell bails out down low and will ride the rim here with Seth Foudy in the 26.
Oh, and Foudy got a major run.
Yes, he did. Their progress is stalled out to Heath Smith as Foudy and Maul now go side by side.
And Foudy has come alive.
Foudy to third.
Said, I am done waiting. It is time to go.
It definitely is. 15 to go at the stripe. James Lehman with a 4.5 second lead. Back to Seth Foudy. 4 seconds to Heath Smith. Is that enough time for Foudy to reel in the race leader? He's making quick progress here up to the one of Smith. Don't look now, but there's the Gorilla Glue Chevy Silverado of Dakota Floyd lurking in the background here, up to 6th around Mike Milfeld. He's brought Matt Sisseler with him as well. Howell and Mall side by side. Just a flurry of activity inside the top 10 here.
Statistically speaking, Seth Foudy needs to make up 0.3 per lap only to catch Lehman at the end.
It'll be on my tombstone at this point. It's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass, and it really is going to be one thing to catch at that rate. Making some time, not quite enough, and still with a truck to pass. And also lap traffic.
Oh, brother Josh Longbonds almost nosed it into the wall.
Foudy swooping underneath will take the second position. And the gap is 4 1/4 seconds up to James Lehman, coming to 11 laps to go. Need some big time laps here for Foudy, who will have to deal with some lap traffic.
You know, that being said, lap traffic might not be the worst thing for Foudy, as it is going to give him a little tow down the straightaways. Longbonds up into the wall.
Lap times. Foudy slower. Gap is 4.3 seconds now. We'll keep our eye on the interval, but we'll go back to the battling here inside the top 10. Matt Sisseler now making the move on Dakota Floyd. He followed him up to this pack and now is going to take a dive down low. Greg Mall and Heath Smith now going to get back to battling here for the third position. As Smith up into the wall. And Mall will clear. Mall back to third. Smith to fourth. Howell riding here in fifth. Sisseler going to get clear on Dakota Floyd. We'll see what Floyd comes back at him with, though. 9 laps to go. Oh, man, tight battling behind them. Stove Price Jr. and Mike Milfeld. Inches apart. Milfeld on the slide on the old tires.
Milfeld, one of the first drivers to come in.
Give Parker Donaldson a little screen time here. He's side by side with Matt Rodolasso for 19th. Donaldson also involved in that opening lap caution. I think this race is quite shook out how he was hoping it would. But Donaldson will complete that pass. Back up for a battle for a spot in the top 5. Here is Sisseler on the charge and right on the door of Christopher Howell. Remember, Sisseler, the last driver to make his stop. The freshest tires on the track of your contenders here. Watching the interval for the lead, it is shrinking, but not nearly by enough. Down to 3.5 seconds. as Sisler will clear on Howell to take 5th.
Dakota Floyd now going to work on Howell around the top.
One thing to point out as well, fuel might be a concern. We still heard some clutching and coasting in the turns early on in this run. Nobody's saving anything right now. That is for darn sure. And handling always an issue as here comes Heath Smith. And I don't think he had 5 laps between him and the next closest group of pitters. Boy, we are going to be right on the number. Lead for Lehman down to 3.2 seconds.
Lehman most definitely killing the truck down into the corner, both ends of the track.
Fuel mileage is what got it done for Justin Michael last time by, or last season here rather. I mean, that is a big time clutch and coast for the race leader. Gap is shrinking, 2.8 seconds. Foudy a couple laps later than Lehman on pit road. Maybe not as much to worry about here in the fuel department. 2 laps to go. Lehman staying, I would imagine by design, in lap traffic here, doing everything he can to alleviate his fuel consumption.
Foudy doing everything he can.
Gap is down to 2.5 seconds. Does Lehman have enough gas to the white flag? 1 lap to go. The Twisted Designs 100 is going to come down to a fuel gamble here by James Lehman.
Lehman going to be held up a little bit by Peyton Bass.
Problems late for Will Kirk. Lehman can coast it from here. And he might have to the checkers. Lehman is wiggling the truck. He's out of gas, but he's got the checkers. The Twisted Designs 100 goes to James Lehman for the first time this season. He's back to victory lane. Seth Foudy will take home second. Greg Mall back on the podium. Sisler and Floyd the top 5. You don't get to cut it much closer than that. He'll have to get the push back to victory lane, but he's got just enough for the win. Oh, man. You already know what I'm going to say. That was beautiful. Well done. Oh, he was saving a little bit. Maybe he was saving specifically for the burnout. Maybe, he's running a Chevy, but that doesn't mean he can't have the Logano lines run through the roll bar there. Well, he could have gotten another couple laps. See how far he can get before it starts to stumble here on a Polish victory lap. But either way, for James Lehman, in I think just his 5th start this season, will finally come away with the first win. It's the 5th of his career here in the series that he revitalized back in 2023. And even from afar, this season has helped keep the operation afloat. He gets to celebrate as a winner for the first time in 2025, season number 2. As he brings it back around to the front straightaway here, we will get to our full finishing rundown of the evening here in the Twisted Designs 100 from the Kansas Speedway. James Lehman, only the 3rd driver in the Max v CNC Home Designs Truck Series to take home a victory here at Kansas. It'll be Seth Foudy with the first career Max v podium. We'll hopefully talk to him and Greg Mall here momentarily, as Mall will take the bronze. 4th for Matt Sisler, Dakota Floyd. The top 5, Chris Howell in 6th. Nathan Carroll in 7th. Mike Milfelt, Stove Price Jr., and Joshua Fracker, the top 10. 11th for Jack Watts. It is 12th for Rod Mitten. 13th for Zachary Groover, Alex Allen, and 14th Riley Laverne, and 15th Will Kirk, Parker Donaldson, Chris Surgeon, Omar Rodriguez Jr., and Matt Rodalasso, the top 20. 21st for Bill Paradise, 22nd for Rob Martin, Peyton Basson, 23rd Heath Smith, and Kyle Stewart, the top 25. Josh Longbones in 26th. Gary Offit, 27th. Ryan Nardone, Greg Parmalee, and Brandon Groover, the top 30. 31st, very disappointing for Justin Michael here in the track that he has so very much dominated here in the past. 32nd for Michael Van Jared Wishon in 33rd, and only 5 laps tonight for Scott Patton before retirement. He will finish in the 34th position. So we will go looking for your podium finishers here, and we'll queue up a replay in the meantime, as it's the CEO of Martinsville on the much bigger track here this evening. But it's time to talk to Mr. Greg Mall. And welcome back to Booth 200 here, and congrats on the podium here this evening.
Appreciate you, Tommy. Yeah, that was a fight tonight. I'm not gonna lie. That was a lot of fun. Just kind of being all over the track in terms of trying to find some speed, and hot slick track tonight was definitely that was a lot of fun. I don't know if I've had that much fun on Kansas ever. So that was a good result for us. Getting a stage win, podium finish. We'll take it.
Certainly. Starting on the outside pole, you're in the thick of it all night here this evening, and I think the furthest we saw you in the running order was after you came off pit road there. A little bit of extra work to pass some trucks back off of pit road, but what was the real difference maker there at the end of the race?
I think it was just a matter of trying to work traffic a little bit better than everybody else, and I noticed the top was starting to show some speed there late, and I don't know if I got to the top as early as I probably should have, but we were still finding some decent speed before we made that green flag stop. So, but yeah, we probably let her hang on the fence there for probably the last 15, 20 laps, and that was a fight. Coming off turn 4, I was talking to Foudy a little bit. There's a few laps where I was having to pedal it, so that was definitely a lot of fun and a good test to everybody for keeping it clean and green after the stage break.
Joshua, what you got?
Man, congrats on the podium and being up here with us in the booth. I mean, you talk about the lanes and, running from bottom to top here, and walk us through, like, what's best for tire wear, what saves fuel, like what's the strategy during the run to ensure that you get to the end as fast as you can?
I think the main thing, and I don't want to, talk shop too much, but in terms of a hot track, you just got to make sure that your tires are going to be there for you at the end of a run. It's all too easy when the track's over 120 degrees to get carried away and try and fight somebody for a spot, knowing that you could probably get it back, within a matter of 5 to 10 laps. So we just wanted to kind of keep our composure, keep our track position, obviously, but I felt like we did a decent job. Kind of fell back after that green flag stop, but I knew that we had plenty of pace in the 7 truck to work our way back up to a podium spot when it was all said and done.
A little bit of a gully between you and the rest of the top 3 in the point standings, but you certainly will have made that up here this evening with a fantastic night at Kansas. Congrats on the second podium of the season, and let's get some shout-outs in before we let you go.
Well, of course, can't say the guys down at Bandit. Can't go without saying the guys down at Bandit with Lehman getting the win there, obviously. Good turnout. Had a few of us had some pretty rough nights, but we'll definitely look forward to next week. I don't even know where we're at next week, to be honest with you, but we'll definitely be looking forward to that. Got to thank all the friends and family that are back home watching on Twitch. Patent Paint's making an awesome 7 truck that we bring to the track, and you, Tommy, and you, Josh, turned 200. Can't thank you guys enough.
We will hope to talk to you again next week in Kentucky, but in the meantime, go celebrate this one.
Thanks, sir.
All right, we have first-time Booth 200 appearance for your runner-up finisher here tonight, charging hard late. Seth Foudy, not only charging late, but charging throughout the entire course of the evening, plus 25. You had a lot of work out on this hot, slick track here this evening. Congrats on the podium.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate
having me up here.
Absolutely. I mean, what a charge there late. To go along with all the trucks that you passed at the start of this race, I mean, you clearly had something there. You beat Greg off pit road, laying back just a little bit. I mean, when did you decide it was time to go there in the closing laps?
Yeah, I mean, for me, a lot of times on this track, I try to run the bottom as long as I possibly can. And the key there is just to save as much tire as possible. And then a lot of times what I'll do is use the outside as kind of my, the fast lane, right? So, towards the end of the race there, I know in order to try to even catch James, I didn't want to go up there too early. And actually, I told my wife, she usually crew chiefs and spots for me. I told her, I was like, I don't want to go up there till there's like 8 to go. And then I'm like, well, I'm never going to catch this dude if I don't go now. So it was kind of a risky thing there. I went ahead and jumped up, and we were actually making pretty good gains on him. I kind of wish we had a few more laps. It would have been nice to see how it all played out. But I think he was a pretty strong contender too, because he was I think he started kind of towards the back too, if from what he was saying. So he ran real good. I think we had a good truck tonight. It did get loose a little bit with the track temp being up and things. Out of 2, it wasn't too bad for me. But when you'd hit that bottom lane and then kind of as you're transitioning over the track coming out of 4, you get loose a little bit. So you just had to be careful. But overall, really happy with the performance, and I think we put together a pretty solid effort tonight. So finishing second, I'm pretty tickled about that.
Well, Joshua, that was pretty expansive. You got anything?
Not too much. I have to change my question every time you say something there. We talked earlier in the night about the caution counts from previous races, and we've had races that have gone just like tonight. Green flag all the way through, at the exception of the stage break. And we've had a couple that have had 3 or 4 cautions. Is this a race that you wanted to see a caution there in that final stint, or were you happy to see it go green?
That's a great question. I honestly kind of feel like that being the position that I was in, a late race caution would have been probably my best chance of catching him, since obviously I didn't have more laps. So, I certainly think that would have been a good play. However, I do feel like that unless I would have hit the top lane right from the get-go, a lot of these guys were really fast on the early run, and I did not have the speed that they necessarily did. Excuse me. It seemed like that on the early run, my thought process was kind of like, well, I'm not able to really kind of keep pace there, so my best bet is to try to save as much as possible. way more than them because I knew that they were eating them up. So, you know, it could have been a bad deal for me too if we had a late one. I really don't know, but again, throwing it on the table there, if it was my best chance to get him, I think maybe that's the opportunity. So, but I think everybody ran really good here tonight. It seemed like super clean. I enjoy the stage cautions. I do like that about this league that they do that. It kind of gives you a chance to regroup. Typically, I'm somebody that as long as I'm not in the caution, I don't mind seeing cautions because a lot of times I can usually pick up a lot of spots at the beginning, right? Because everybody's all kind of clustered up, and sometimes I have my best chance to shine there. So, you know, who knows, guys? I one way or the other, I'm not really sure. I had the pace in the early go of it to maybe pass him, but I think it, I don't know. Good question though.
I mean, certainly between tonight and your other limited appearances here this season, especially in New Hampshire as well, you've definitely been lighted up here in Max V. It's been great to have you back. And let's get some shout-outs in before we let you go.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Definitely want to give a big thank you to Turn 200 for your guys' broadcast. I always do enjoy watching. I think I said last time I've gone back and watched even past seasons with Max Velocity that I wasn't even a part of. So definitely enjoy your broadcast. I want to give a shout out to James for his win tonight. That was really cool. And everything that him and his admin team do to kind of put this league on is really good. I do think it's a great league for anybody that's looking for something that they want to get involved in. It's a good group of guys. So give a shout out there. I want to give a shout out to my wife for and the kids, my family, for giving me the opportunity to get on here and drive. And I always like to give a shout out to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without him, I wouldn't even have the equipment and stuff like that I do. I've been very blessed as an individual. So I want to give a shout out to that. And I know I didn't win tonight, but my heart goes out to Charlie Kirk and stuff like that. So I know he won't ever see this, but just the thought that counts. So it's kind of cool to be able to give a shout out on a broadcast for that. So him and his family. But that's it, guys. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, partner. Thanks for the time here tonight, and we'll hope to get you one better next week at Kentucky, but awesome stuff here tonight.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
And now for the fifth time in the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series, it's the boss who is the boss here tonight. Awesome stuff from James Lehman all night long. Congrats and welcome back to Victory Lane, partner.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, Seth Foudy will go down as the hard charger here tonight, but he even made mention of it, and I was going to ask you about it. Having to start all the way at the back of this field, you certainly got the lay of the land here pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah, for sure. With a nice little hot, slick track and then having to serve my penalty and start from literally the last place on the inside row at the start of this race, it definitely made it challenging for sure. Because you had to take your time going through the field and everything. And, yeah, when everybody's slipping and sliding around, you got to be careful, that's for sure.
I would say, I don't think it's fair to call you a short track guy because there really aren't a lot of things you can't do on this sim. But certainly it is slicked up like a short track or maybe even a dirt track at 100% track state. And you are just absolutely bowling your way through this field until it was right after that caution on lap number 5 that you were up there contending for stage points. And you continued to just rocket your way up through there. I mean, you had to know pretty early that you had the pace to potentially win this race.
I definitely, I'll be honest, I didn't think I had the pace to win it. I thought I was going to have the pace for like a solid top 5 out of it, if I'm being completely honest. But then, those 2 cautions came out and some big heavy hitters, got taken out early in the race and some had damage and they had to fall to the rear of the field and come back through. It kind of opened it up a little bit more for me, especially when that stage break came out. I was like, oh, okay, I might have a shot here, and then giving Greg and Michael a run for their money there at the beginning, right as the stage break was over and going green there. Definitely, I was like, I got to take the lead now if I want to win this. So clean air was the key.
All righty, Joshua, have at him.
Man, I'll be honest. I was scrolling. I was trying to find a riddle for you. I couldn't find one that I liked. No, congrats on the win. I've raced against you a few times. I know that by far you're one of the fastest short run guys that I've ever raced against. I mean, what is it for you tonight that lets you able to transfer that into a long run and make it work?
To be honest, I think it's more of just I like hot, slick tracks. If I'm being completely honest, because it really helps me tame my driving style for sure. My aggressiveness, mainly what I should say. Because when the track's all gripped up and everything, I don't really think about saving tires. You know what I mean? Like, so when it's hot and slick, I can at least back it off and be like, all right, I got to take care of my stuff a little bit and take my time, and the long run will just come to me. So.
Well, you certainly were the one doing the taming here this evening as you take your 5th career Max V victory, the Twisted Designs 100 here at the Kansas Speedway. Congrats to you. Let's get some shout-outs in once again before we let you go.
Thank you to everybody that came out tonight, for the Twisted Designs 100, and then thank you guys at Turn 200. You guys always do an amazing broadcast, and look forward to watching this later tomorrow, and looking forward to next week at Kentucky. It's going to be a fun one.
Absolutely. I guess I would be remiss not to ask. I mean, how much fuel did you have? Because we thought you were out, and then it turns out you got enough for a full backwards lap. I mean, how much fuel were we sitting on there at the end?
Little under a gallon, but I honestly was trying to save as much fuel as I can just to do a burnout.
Yeah, I think I said almost exactly that. He's getting pushed around just so he has enough to do a burnout when he gets back around.
Literally, I was like, as soon as I get to these the lap cars draft, I was like, I can just chill out and just save some fuel, and I saved a lot just chilling there between them two.
Well, good planning to strategize for the burnouts. They look great, and welcome back to Victory Lane, partner. Congrats, and we'll hope to talk to you again next week at Kentucky.
Well, alrighty, bud. Thank you.
Well, no riddle needed here tonight. The way to solve Kansas Speedway was to be very fast, and that is exactly what we got from James Lehman here tonight.
Yeah, not only very fast, but I was able to pick up the strategy just right. Definitely pitted on the exact correct lap to make it happen. Lots of strategy plays here tonight. I know that you really enjoyed it. Super excited for Kansas next week as well, or Kentucky rather. The Green Walls. It's going to be fun. It's another one of my favorite tracks. So definitely excited. Max V always puts on a very brilliant show. So looking forward to it.
Certainly not out of the question that we'll get a hot, slick track again next week at Kentucky, an already very dynamic 1.5 mile track. It's going to be quite the interesting one. We'll hope to catch you at Virtual Sparta next Thursday night at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. But in the meantime, we've got one more stream for you next week. It's Tuesday night with the Venom Truck Series as the Car Inside in-season tournament continues at the Nashville Super Speedway. We'll catch you there at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And a reminder, the Daredevil Series will return in 2 Wednesdays at Gateway for a doubleheader race with the Roval and the Oval. But yes, indeed. Kentucky next week once again with Max V. Very excited to get back there. Thanks, everybody that was hanging out with us here tonight. Rob Martin was in the chat, as was Bailey and Robin. The Motichek Gang showing out, as always. Zach Magris, Danielle Carroll, Lisa Carroll, Michelle Kirk, Marilyn Beck, Erica O'Day, and Real Everton was in there as well. I'm probably missing somebody. Hopefully not. We appreciate everybody that comes and spends the nights with us here with the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Thank you to CNC Home Designs as always. Central Florida home builders for you. Be sure to check them out. Give Kerry Cleaver and Deb a call, and they'll get you squared away. On behalf of the Max V admin team and my broadcast partner, Mr. Joshua Motichek, until we meet again from the Kansas Speedway, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long, and congratulations to James Lehman, the winner for the 5th time in his career in tonight's Twisted Designs 100. Have a good night, everybody. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.